Hey there. We're diving deep into a topic I know a lot of you have been asking about. How to really understand people, like how to navigate relationships better. And we've got a great book to guide us. You Need to Know People.
By Father Mark Ingua.
Yeah, brand new, just came out this year. Have you had a chance to look at it yet?
It's so interesting. Father Ingua's background is fascinating. Being both a priest and also, having a background in counseling psychology, it gives him such a unique way of looking at human nature.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he's not just pulling this out of thin air. He's drawing from like years of actual experience working with people, all different kinds of people.
Exactly. It's not just theory with him.
One of the things that struck me right away was how much he emphasizes observation, like really paying attention to people and not just what they're saying.
It's true. It's like he's giving you permission to become a student of how people behave, like you get to be a detective almost.
Oh, I like that.
Looking for clues in their body language, how their tone of voice changes even when they're quiet.
Oh, right. He uses this metaphor comparing people to gifts.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Some are wrapped up all nice and neat, easy to figure out, but then there are others.
A little more work to unwrap.
Definitely. It makes you realize getting to know someone, really know them, it takes effort.
But like those tricky gifts, sometimes the ones that take the most effort
Mhm.
are the ones that turn out to be the most, I don't know, the most interesting in the end.
That's such a good point. It's like the more effort you put in, the more rewarding it can be. And he
Right.
talks about how we all have different ways of interacting. Like some people are just naturally open books, super easy to talk to.
Right, very approachable.
Exactly. While others might be more, I don't know, maybe a little more cautious or reserved.
And there's a reason for that, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about it from like even a psychological standpoint, we're all shaped by our experiences.
Oh, absolutely. Like our past experiences definitely influence how we interact with the world.
If you think about those nature shows, how different animals have these specific ways of acting to survive.
Right.
It's kind of like that with people too. Like our personalities, they come from this mix of our genes for sure, but also everything we've been through.
So true. So it's not about trying to label people or put them in boxes.
No, definitely not.
It's more about trying to understand their story
Yeah.
because everybody has one.
Everyone's got a story. Yeah.
And some of those stories, can be tough. He tells this really powerful story about a professor who gives his class a pop quiz.
I think I remember that one.
So he's asking all these questions related to the class, the usual stuff.
Should test their knowledge. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But then he throws in this curveball. What is the cleaning lady's name?
Wow.
Can you imagine the students' faces?
I bet most of them were completely stumped.
Yeah.
And, it's such a powerful way to show how we can go through our days, totally missing the people who are right there.
It's so true. We take so much for granted.
We do. And those are the people who are often making our lives easier, often in ways we don't even realize.
Absolutely. It makes you stop and think.
Yeah.
It's not just about knowing their names, though. It's deeper than that. It's about really seeing them, acknowledging that everyone has value. It doesn't matter what their job is or their background.
It's about treating everyone with dignity no matter what.
Exactly. And I think that's something we could all use a little more of these days. It reminds me of that quote. I'm not sure who said it first, but it's something like, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind.
It's so true.
But Father Ingwa, he takes it a step further.
He does.
He's saying, don't just be kind, but really make an effort to see the people around you.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's such a simple but profound idea.
It is. It makes you think about all the people you might be taking for granted in your own life. The ones who maybe deserve a little more appreciation, a little more attention. It's like we're all searching for those Dorothys in our lives, right? The ones who make a difference, even if it's behind the scenes. But speaking of how we see people, there's this other idea from Father Ingwa that really got me thinking. It's about how people are mirrors, like the people who really bug us, the ones we just can't stand. He's saying they often reflect things back at us, qualities we don't like about ourselves.
Oh, that's so interesting. And there's actually a psychological term for that. It's called projection. It's this idea that we all have insecurities, right? Things about ourselves we don't want to face. So instead of dealing with them directly, we kind of unconsciously put them onto other people.
It's so much easier to blame someone else, isn't it?
It is. But when we can stop and think, why am I so bothered by this one thing about this person? Sometimes it can be really revealing.
Like maybe it's not really about them at all.
Exactly. It might be pointing to something we need to work on within ourselves.
It's like he says, Instead of judging others, maybe we should be a little more introspective, try to understand ourselves better.
And, sometimes when we can see those projections for what they are, it can actually lead to a lot more compassion, both for ourselves and the person we're judging.
It's like that saying, when you point a finger at someone, there are three fingers pointing back at you. So we've talked about seeing people for who they are, understanding their stories, but Father Ingois also talks about the importance of putting people first, which I thought was really powerful, especially in today's world. It's easy to get caught up in everything else going on.
It is. It's like this constant pressure to achieve, to be successful. We're always striving for something more. But he reminds us that at the end of the day, it's our connections with other people that really matter.
And that's something I think gets lost sometimes in the midst of everything else. He tells this funny story about a wedding he went to. They had all these different entrances set up, one for the bride's family, one for the groom's side.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that.
But then he gets to the men's entrance, and there are two more doors.
Wait, really? What for?
One was labeled people with gifts, and the other people without gifts.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? It's kind of funny, but also kind of sad when you think about it.
It really is. It's like, even at a wedding, which is supposed to be all about love and celebrating these two people,
Yeah.
we're still dividing people based on what they bring, literally.
It's like we've forgotten what's truly important. It's not about the stuff, it's about the people.
And he actually quotes another author, Jean Vanier. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I haven't.